In this lesson, I'm going to walk you through how to ride steeper jumps. When you get to the advanced level and you start really improving your riding and you're starting to ride more gap jumps like this, you'll find on the mountain bike trails, it's really rare to find a jump and encounter something this steep. And that makes it really intimidating for a lot of riders because it's something that's pretty rare to come across. But having the ability to come at a jump like this and comfortably hit it and have control in the air is a huge skill. It's super valuable and it'll bring your riding to that next level where your bike control is just so comfortable in the air. So let's take a look at everything you need to know when you're approaching a jump like this, a few things to think about in the air, and a couple tips to really help you get comfortable and get more confident riding jumps like this and even just approaching them and starting to get into it. Coming into a jump like this is obviously very intimidating if it's foreign to you. I mean, look at this thing, it's taller than me, and I wouldn't even consider this a big dirt jump. It's maybe a 6-foot lip at the most. It's pretty steep, but it's not ridiculously steep. And it's got a nice long radius to it, so it's gonna be pretty predictable on how to ride it, and it's not gonna be too aggressive, meaning it's not gonna kick you really fast. But for someone who's just getting into riding jumps on a mountain bike and they've just started riding mellow jump trails that might be considered advanced in your local trail network, you'll come to a park like this and you'll see a jump like this and you're just gonna be blown away by the size of it. And that might shake you up, that might make you stiff, and that's the number one thing that stops people from riding steep, tall jumps like this, is because they're so scary looking. And the first thing that comes to their mind is, I can't do something like that, I can't risk getting injured. I can see why it's so intimidating. I mean, if you come and look at this jump right here, it's just as tall as I am, or a little higher even. It's steep, it's like looking at a wall. And if that's completely foreign to you, you have no idea what it's gonna feel like. And naturally, when we're nervous, we stiffen up, we get more rigid. And that's the last thing you wanna do when you're on jumps. You wanna stay relaxed and fluid. The second you get stiff, you're not gonna have control in the air. And I think that's the number one thing that happens is people don't have the confidence, they get scared. They think it's gonna ride way more different than it actually is. And then once they get in the air, they realize it's easier than they thought it would be, but they're stuck in a stiff position and they can't get out of it. There's a couple things you can do to really trust yourself on a steeper ramp like this. The number one thing I would say is slowly work your way up to ramps this size. So you're not just going straight into something this big, but you're starting off with, say, a knee-high jump, and then waist-high, and then chest-high, and then overhead. Like slowly working your way up to steeper and taller jumps, and then really feeling out how they feel different as you ride off them. And that'll give you a really good understanding on what to expect when you're coming into it. And then there's never any surprises. There's way less uncertainty, and you can be relaxed and focused on your technique. In order to make big, steep jumps more predictable, you can really break down and analyze how they're different from what you know how to ride already. Most jumps in a bike park are quite a bit lower than this, flatter takeoffs, and if you use all your basic jumping techniques that you already know, it's gonna be very predictable and easy to do. However, when you're looking at a tall ramp like this and it's a lot scarier, it's really hard to know what to do, and it's easy for you to get confused and feel completely lost. But if you just take a good look at this and analyze what's similar about it and what's different, you can really help yourself figure out how fast do I need to go. Now, imagine the jumps you've been riding all along, just extended and taller and steeper. So you want to go into them a bit faster, obviously, but because there's more surface area and more takeoff area, you can actually have slower movements because you're on the jump for longer, you're in the air for longer, and you're on the landing for longer. Everything lasts longer, which means it's actually less technical if you can just be relaxed and let yourself do it, and everything can slow down. So almost take what you know about small jumps, approach them faster, but put everything else in slow motion, aside from the speed you're hitting it at. And this will help you relax, it'll help you focus on what you're doing, and you're not gonna get all jittery and freaked out in the air. Just stay relaxed and let the landing come into you, and it's gonna give you plenty of setup time and plenty of room for error. And if you can really focus on that landing zone and really staying nice and smooth and relaxed on that takeoff, then you should have no problems. If it's your first time launching into the air on a jump like this, and you're a few feet higher in the air than you even expected, it might be a bit of a freaky feeling. And it's really easy to be in the air, kind of freaked out, and start like wobbling around because you're scared naturally. A few things you can do to help yourself stay stable in the air is, number one, try to do a bit of a bar turn or a tweak. This will kind of help you balance out a bit. And this is why you see a lot of riders, like even professional top riders who are practicing a really crazy course, when they're in the air in a big jump, they're never like dead sailor, straight airing it. They're always turning their bike and their body a bit because it helps them stay balanced a little bit in the air. Number 2 is soaking your bike up into you. This is another way to create movement in the air and keep you balanced and almost distracted while you're spending time in the air. If you soak your bike up into you, that just gives you more room to open up for that landing. The third thing you can do is just experiment with coming off the jump a few different ways and feeling out kind of what your style is on bigger jumps like this. Some riders pop higher in the air more than others. Some riders go lower and faster on jumps than others because they find that more comfortable. You also need to scare yourself a little bit each time you're approaching new jumps like this, within reason though. So make sure you're riding within your ability and you're 100% confident you can nail the landing, but you should always feel a little scared and a little out of your comfort zone, because really that's the only way to progress. What can help you with this is having friends to ride with who will push you and also are at the same level as you or a little better, so you guys can challenge each other, feed off each other's energy, and this is a great way to feel a little safer at the same time. Most jump lines that you find on the trail aren't way less technical than steep ramps like this. They're just a lot easier looking and way less intimidating. I mean, you're not going at a wall. It doesn't look like you're riding into a giant wall of dirt, which can scare people a lot. But I want you to know that you can do this. It's not a lot harder. You just have to stay relaxed, slow things down, and really be committed. 100% commitment, no hesitation, and just be fully in it and ready for it, and you'll hit it no problem.